Yeah, they were together for a while, and it just kind of seems like that ended. But the big question is, was there essentially cheating? And its approach to this divorce and what happened between the two of them.
Insiders are spilling on the real reason why Ryan Reynolds left Blake Lively alone.
Did you hear what Brian Freriedman said last week? He's one of the most powerful divorce lawyers in Hollywood, and he rarely speaks without a reason. So when he recently told reporters outside his Beverly Hills office, sometimes the couples who seem the happiest are the ones going through the toughest times, people started paying attention. This wasn't just a random comment. Freriedman isn't just another lawyer in a fancy suit. He's the go-to guy when famous marriages start falling apart. He's handled high-profile breakups, like Kevin Costner's $200 million divorce and Johnny Depp's dramatic split from Amber Heard. When celebrities need to protect their money and image, Freriedman is the first person they call. Now, here's where things get interesting. Just a few weeks ago, he was seen leaving 11 Madison Park, a fancy New York restaurant, shortly after Blake Lively slipped out the back. Her rep claimed she was just out with friends but didn't say who. That same week, someone at Freriedman's office leaked that his calendar was filled with secret meetings, marked only with initials. One of them? BL Freriedman also made some eyebrow-raising comments in a recent interview. When asked about famous couples under pressure, he paused for a long time before saying that it's tough for stars to stay together when both are in the same business and constantly in the spotlight. His firm recently hired 2 lawyers who specialize in dividing big assets, especially in states like New York, where Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds own property. Plus, Freriedman just followed both of their business accounts online, a move lawyers rarely make unless they're working together. Finally, a close source confirmed yesterday, Blake and Ryan have officially consulted Freriedman about their relationship. It's still early, but they're seriously considering their future, while keeping their children's needs first.
I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation.
And record this for you so you can see what actually happened right away. This was the first moment I posted this over on Twitter because I couldn't believe to see them there. And then sure enough, yep, a lot of press outlets, obviously the red carpet appearance. There they were on the red carpet.
Blake here for company. Blake and Ryan to your slight right. Both of you, thank you. Let's get the 2 shot here on the left. Center from the and on your right, Mr. Reynolds, we can slide Blake here for company. Blake and Ryan to your slight right.
She couldn't leave the house. Isn't that what she had said? Isn't that the whole thing? Severe anguish during the feud and she couldn't leave. I mean, is this going to help her legal case to show the apparent damages she's been suffering? Because it sure looks like they're having quite a nice time and it's not affecting their life at all.
Blake and Ryan speaking to legal experts is simply the official sign of what those closest to them have noticed for a while. Although they say their children come first, the 2 stars have been leading very different lives. What used to look like the perfect Hollywood romance has now turned into something distant and unfamiliar to longtime fans. They're sleeping in different rooms, going on holidays separately, and even checking out new homes, alone. All signs point to them preparing for a life in 2 separate places. They were once seen as the dream couple. For years, they managed their chaotic work schedules by making sure one parent was always with the kids. They often showed up to support each other's work, popping in on movie sets and appearing together at public events with sweet moments of affection. A former staff member says they had a strict rule: never spend more than 2 weeks apart. They always made time to reconnect, no matter how busy things got. But things have changed. They haven't been seen at a public event together in nearly 3 months. Blake showed up alone at the Met Gala, walked multiple red carpets solo for her movie press tour, and even went to Paris Fashion Week without Ryan. While Ryan claimed to be working in Vancouver, someone from his film crew mentioned he had several long breaks, plenty of time to visit Blake, but chose not to. Their vacation habits also reflect this shift. Their usual family trip to Taylor Swift's beach house didn't happen together this year. Blake went with her sister and the kids, while Ryan was seen hanging out with Deadpool co-stars in New Orleans. Back in New York, a favorite restaurant staffer said the couple hasn't eaten there together since Blake's birthday. Ryan now dines alone. Even their neighbors have noticed. They're rarely seen together, and their routines never overlap. And most recently, Blake visited a house in Connecticut alone. She focused on the kids' bedrooms and office space, telling the agent, "I'm handling this part," when asked about Ryan's input.
Yeah, they were together for a while, and it just kind of seems like that ended. But the big question is, was there essentially cheating? And it's kind of hard to be able to tell. So there's two different narratives, but specifically, what Ryan and Blake's narrative is, they both were not in relationships. When they did get together, it was after the filming of Green Lantern, and everything was good. But I think what made everything more complicated was there was a rumor due to a tweet that was sent out by a reporter. So that's kind of the odd thing here.
Smoking gun, if you will. This is what it was. Yes, here we have the article. That during the allegation of this really all stemmed from a journalist who now claimed it in a deleted tweet.
Yes.
Now, the tweet has been archived. Here it is from Kat Marnell. Fun fact, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds hooked up when Ryan Reynolds was still married to ScarJo and holed up in a NOLA hotel room during the Green Lantern. Us Weekly had discovered this, and their beauty editor would tell us this at events and about how Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's team's threats squashed the story. Now, again, this person's reporting, it is hearsay, right? Because she's clearly
hearsay.
saying,
this is
the beauty editor over at this place is telling me this, da, da, da. So it is multiple steps to confirm this, everybody. So it's not confirmed. But it wouldn't be a surprise. They were clearly had chemistry during that tour. I remember, Kim, all the junkets that people have seen of Ryan and Blake, there is so much seemingly flirtation.
The home office Blake was so focused on during her house search isn't just a workspace. It's the command center for her growing career as a director. It's a sign she's building something completely separate from Ryan's world in Hollywood. If you watch her recent Variety interview, her reaction when asked how she juggles directing and parenting says a lot. She gives a tight smile and looks away, hinting that everything isn't as smooth as it seems. A few years ago, they were known for managing their jobs around their kids, making sure one parent was always home. Blake even told Vogue in 2021 that they never left the children without one of them. But now that plan has completely collapsed. Someone from Blake's team said she's fully committed to directing now. It's not just a hobby anymore, it's her main focus. The problem started when Blake started work on The Woman in the Window Next Door. She stayed in New York while Ryan traveled constantly for his new film. She worked long hours every day, often leaving his calls to return to her meetings. Tension grew worse when she turned down a big acting role just to stay behind the camera. Ryan didn't get why, but Blake refused to compromise. Their careers, once intertwined, are now pulling them apart.
Insiders are spilling on the real reason why Ryan Reynolds left Blake Lively alone on the red carpet amid the Anna Kendrick beef, and it's all about money. Now, I do want to address my last video. I got some flack from somebody saying, Andy, what Blake did is way worse. I'm disappointed in you. Oh my God, not everything's a competition, guys. I literally said it in the video. I know what Blake's done to Justin is worse, but we've got such tunnel vision on bad, good, bad. It's like Anna Kendrick can also be a problem. And from everything I've heard, she is. Not only that, after I posted that video, I got so many more scoops and insight from people I trust and also randoms on social saying, oh my God, thank you for speaking up against Anna Kendrick. I stand by my report and be prepared. Don't be mad at the messenger that I told you Anna Kendrick's not very nice either. Now, again, that doesn't mean she's as bad as Blake. Guys, calm down. My God, it's so frustrating. The issue is, yeah, Blake Lively's done awful things to Justin and needs to pay the price in court. We'll find it out. But what I'm trying to warn you is apparently Anna's no angel either. Anna's been very rude to crew. Some of the things I've heard sound awful. I wouldn't want to work with her. Now, is it to the extent? No, but like I said, why is it a competition? My God, people can be bad at different levels. And I promise you, this wasn't just like, oh, I had a bad day. It sounds like Anna is a pain in the butt, similar, trying to take over the film, super massive ego that makes it hard for everyone she works around. And yeah, that's coming to light. Just like, look, this should be the year where we call out all a-holes.
Blake and Ryan's growing professional distance is only part of the story. What's happening online, especially on Instagram, is raising serious questions. Once known for their playful jokes and sweet messages to each other, the couple has gone almost completely silent. Their interactions have dropped by nearly 80% in the last year, and it's hard not to notice. The subtle hints they're leaving online could be the biggest signs yet that something's changed. Fans remember the days when Ryan shared goofy birthday posts, often cropping Blake out in a funny way, or when Blake would tease him by tagging Hugh Jackman instead. Their feeds were full of charm, humor, and affection, showing a real, relatable bond. Now there's barely a trace of that connection. Ryan used to mention Blake regularly, but lately she's vanished from his posts. Social media analyst Carmen Rodriguez calls this digital distancing, a slow removal of someone from your public life before making anything official. Even their wording has changed. Instead of we and our, it's now I and my. Blake's big career updates now feature only herself and co-stars, no shoutouts to Ryan. Her once detailed birthday posts for him have been replaced by a brief disappearing story. Meanwhile, her online circle is filled with women, like Taylor Swift and her sisters, while Ryan's focus is all business, posting with coworkers and industry friends. According to experts, this pattern, less interaction, solo photos, and separate friend groups, is often the early warning before a couple goes public with a breakup. Their online behavior is painting a clear picture. They may not have said anything yet, but they're already living very separate lives.
Is this possible? Because as we've been going through this whole drama with Justin Baldoni, we're learning so much about the way that PR works, and things that happen behind the scenes, right? We're seeing all these texts of these PR employees and agents that are all speaking with press outlets directly, trying to make sure there's good stories about their, their client, or blocking potential stories about their client. And it makes me start to wonder, like, could this really be possible? Would this be something? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there have been stories of affairs between celebrities that have been blocked in the press because of PR. And I think that's part of why this whole Justin Baldoni story is so fascinating. It's just because people are really getting a behind the scenes look at the reality of PR and what all of that means.
I mean, the other thing that we can't, because you didn't even have this in here, but I'm going there, Kim, because if we really go through it, Blake Lively has had a history of being with her co-stars.
It's true.
That's what's being alleged here between, obviously, as we know, with Penn Badgley, Ryan Reynolds. There was talk about Leonardo DiCaprio. Here's the sort of the dating histories go. Leonardo DiCaprio, the rumors were that Blake Lively was up for The Great Gatsby, and then hooked up with Leo, but then didn't ultimately get the part, and then didn't stay with Leo, is what the rumors are. Was she with Ryan Gosling? That's I guess she wasn't in the movie with him.
Spotted on a few dates.
Allegedly. I mean, who wouldn't want to go on a few dates with him? Penn, but yeah, and then this, yes, they were in Sister of the Traveling Pants. So there's multiple people here that she seemingly does. And I'm not throwing shade. It isn't my business. It sets a potential precedent that, yeah. And it's why a lot of us during the Set Ends With Us story, like maybe she was trying to hook up with Justin or use that, because it does seem to be something that she's done before, right? Is that unfair of us to sort of speculate about, Kim?
I think as long as we keep in mind that it is speculation, an opinion, and alleged, I think it's okay. We can't say for sure.
Ryan Reynolds, he's out there sharing selfies. In fact, here it is. We went to his stories, and sure enough, Hootie and the Blowfish says, "Oh, I want to be with you." I mean, it's a good song. Ryan has some good taste in music. I'll give him that. But he's out there putting on a brave face, putting on a good face, saying, "Yep, see, we're good. Everything's fine." And look, this is obviously done on purpose to elicit, we're not bothered. We're living our life. Don't bother us. And honestly, it's a good move on his part to do. You can be mad at him all you want, but you got, to pretend to still be the brand without any damage, you got to act like there's no damage, but there currently is. He's been active on social media. He's not letting anything sort of stop him. He's promoting his venues. He's talking about his movies, and he's also making a point to, bring up charities, etc., the Terry Fox Foundation. He is not stopping from doing his day-to-day. One could commend him for that, or one could be angry at him. I'll let you guys in the comments say what you think.
The clearest signs that something is wrong between Blake and Ryan aren't just online, they're right in front of us. Think back to their past red carpet appearances, always laughing, holding hands, sneaking glances, and staying physically close. All that closeness has disappeared. Body language specialist Vanessa Thompson has studied their public moments for years. She says the change in how they interact is shocking. Instead of moving in sync like a loving couple, they now look like two people posing together without real connection. At the Met Gala, Blake showed up alone, standing tall and confident. Her posture screamed self-reliance. Gone was the usual gentle lean into Ryan. She carried herself like someone focused on her own journey. Meanwhile, Ryan's most recent movie premiere told a very different story. He looked tired, with a forced smile and messy hair. Even simple outings like grabbing coffee show him looking distracted, poorly dressed, and nothing like the polished actor fans are used to seeing. At a school event last month, the couple was photographed together for the first time in weeks, but they didn't look united. Blake kept her arms crossed and Ryan turned slightly away from her, with obvious space between them. Thompson called it a clear example of emotional distance. Even Ryan's wedding ring seemed to be sending a message. It hung loosely on his finger during a tense phone call outside his office. Photographer Marco Santini, who has followed them for years, said Ryan now seems lost in thought, no longer scanning the room for Blake like he used to. Blake, on the other hand, seems lighter and more at ease. In recent beach photos with her sister, she looks genuinely happy, more than in any recent photo with Ryan. They're even arriving and leaving events separately now, which used to be unheard of for them.
Us Magazine's reporting what they are saying is Blake and Ryan's different attempts at dealing with this all behind the scenes. They report from a source that Blake is very stressed, upset, and just wants all this to be done. I mean, it would have been if you hadn't filed. I don't know why you did all this in the first place, because it is ridiculous. Ryan, meanwhile, is more confident that the truth will prevail in court. The insider says he's been consoling his wife throughout the lead up to the trials. So there it is. Those are the reactions coming in. They seem pretty likely. Ryan's putting on a good face. Justin is too. He was seen in Hawaii with his family, smiling with paparazzi as well. So everybody's trying to put on a brave face, but reality is I believe Justin's hurting financially. And now what's interesting as we all look at the reactions, what's happening, people are looking back and it looks like Ryan really is scrambling to put up that all is well, nice guy persona, because this came in from a TikToker. This was an Instagram originally. This theory came in that was pretty shocking.
Those separate arrivals aren't random or just due to busy schedules. They're signs of a much deeper issue unfolding behind closed doors. For years, the public only saw the picture-perfect version of Blake and Ryan. But people who've spent time with them away from the spotlight are now sharing a very different story, one that even their most loyal followers are struggling to believe. Maria Gonzalez, who has worked in their home for more than 5 years, recently told a close friend that everything has changed. She said they used to be affectionate, finishing each other's thoughts and always close. Now, according to Maria, they barely speak directly, relying on assistants to coordinate their routines. Even dinner has become a quiet, distant affair. When the children are around, they still act like a team. But once the kids are asleep, they retreat to separate parts of their home. The situation is just as strained outside the house. At their children's private school, Ryan missed 3 parent-teacher meetings in a row this spring. Blake attended alone, polished and composed, but noticeably uncomfortable when asked about him. During the school play, she sat by herself while other couples shared laughs. Their famous circle of friends has quietly split too. Blake is often seen with Taylor Swift, Gigi Hadid, and Emily Blunt, while Ryan keeps close to Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. What used to be group hangouts are now carefully planned to avoid any awkward encounters. An industry insider revealed they've been meeting with counselors and financial planners for months, trying to manage the situation as calmly as possible. Their main focus? Protecting their kids. A family member said they've been gently preparing the children, using books and simple conversations to explain that even if parents live apart, their love doesn't change. Someone close to the couple confirmed that they've quietly been living separate lives since January. They're still in the same house for now, but only for the sake of their children.
But this whole issue, Colonel Kurtz said it really well. I haven't seen unforced errors like this since, well, Amber. However, the situation resolves. It's astounding how Blake Lively has committed huge strategic, unforced errors and turned a season of bad social media that had already resolved with the giant success of the movie, Facts, into potentially years of terrible public sentiment and online division. She no doubt thought she was dealing a death blow to Justin, but suddenly things aren't looking as smug. This is where the problem arises. this story was over. People were moving on. I think even people would have forgotten and moved on and said, oh, she was bad in those junkets, and she could have fixed it in the next round of press.
She has spoken a little bit about her previous relationships, and there's been a few quotes that we believe or allegedly may possibly be directed in Ryan Reynolds' direction. But it does seem like she's tried to keep a really kind of, I guess, above reproach, classy approach to this divorce and what happened between the two of them.
And that's the full picture. When you connect all the dots, from Brian Friedman's legal steps to their growing distance in everyday life, career paths heading in opposite directions, changes in how they show up online, and even subtle signs. In photographs, the truth becomes hard to ignore. The couple who once symbolized true love in Hollywood seems to be slowly drifting apart without saying a word. Their silence only adds to the tension. While many followers still hold out hope for a happy ending, all signs suggest that a public statement is coming. It's just a matter of time. For years, they were seen as the perfect pair, funny, supportive, and always in sync. That image made them one of the most admired couples in the entertainment world. But behind the scenes, things seem very different. All the recent clues, from body language shifts to changes in how they talk about each other, point toward an emotional and physical separation already in motion. For a duo that once defined couple goals, this quiet unraveling feels especially heartbreaking. Fans might still be waiting for confirmation, but those close to the couple say it's no longer if, but when the truth will be made public, and who will be the first to speak. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.